Curtis, PE turned RE. It's been a while, man. So how's everything been?
Things are great, man. This week has been spring break, so it's been nice to see what life can be like when it's just the real estate stuff.
Yeah, lucky. I didn't realize it was spring break for you. I guess spring break is different everywhere across the country. But we were making fun in the live stream yesterday that teachers don't even work nowadays. They canceled school again out in Hawaii. But
Uh,
yeah, but it's good to have you on, man. It's been a while, but I did want to dig into a few things. I think it might fit in well with, like you said, spring break right now. But
mhm.
there was a video that I caught on Alux recently, and it was talking about kind of the having good problems kind of means you're winning, right? So you're never going to get rid of all the problems you face in life, but certain problems mean you're probably winning at life, right? So did you get a chance to take a peek at that video?
Yeah, and I thought it was actually very on brand. A few of the things actually really resonated with me, and a few things I had questions for you. So I thought it was a great clip for us to talk about.
I believe you are streaming live also right now. So if you aren't subscribed to Curtis's channel, please jump over there, subscribe, like, and take a look. He has some great interviews recently with a lot of people in his area, and Curtis is doing awesome out there. And maybe quickly before we dive into the topic, though, you are a realtor also in your agent, right? There is a question real quick from Harrison. He says, "How is the spring selling season, Curtis?"
Well, a lot of things aren't moving at the moment. I just got the March data for our area. I looked at the whole state of Washington and then the county that I'm in. So it's kind of the same trend, to be honest. We have more things on the market. The things that are on the market are sitting for longer, and prices are pretty much flat compared to March of last year. That's across the whole state of Washington and just in Pierce County too.
I want to say good morning to a could be a new follower, subscriber. I'm not sure if you know who this is. Sparky girl from Tennessee, Tiffany. Hello
No.
there.
Hmm.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thank
But yeah, like I said, that Alux video, like I said, is very fitting probably for you being on spring break right now. But there was 10 kind of problems, I guess, or they're talking about. We're not going to dig into all of them. So if you want to check it out, go to Alux, check out that video. But was there any that stuck out to you?
Yeah. I thought one was choosing between good opportunities. I think that one can be interesting because we often think of, oh, like just go to the next thing, go to the next thing, but at a certain point, as your opportunities grow, how do you decipher between what to do, right? Because they're all good. Um, it could be if you're younger, what college? Well, if you get accepted to 10 colleges, well, that's pretty awesome. But how do you choose and whittle that down? Or jobs, or in our case, properties. Um, how have you navigated that, especially as you've accumulated more?
I gotta give a shout out to Anthony Edis. He's a Bears fan. So he says go Bears.
Oh, we gotta block them.
I do have to give a shout out to him. But Sparky Girl says she follows Dion and Matt. So yeah, I'll give a quick shout out to. I will be recording with Dion and Matt this coming week. Zuber's on a trip, so I usually do the comment section breakdown with Zuber. But since he's on a trip, Dion and Lumberjack are gonna tackle some of the comments in Zuber's section. So we'll see how riled up we can get the Lumberjack going. But definitely, I do agree. Though having multiple good opportunities, right?
Mhm.
So I think Dion, I think he said his daughter said that to him one time, right? A lot of times, when you have um, the problem is when you have good options, right?
Mhm.
So when you have options that are going to have good results, a lot of times that's the problem, and you don't really realize at the time that sometimes it's funny. You look at them as problems, but when you have just good things that can come from them, right? It's a positive thing, right? So you're talking about college, right? It's better to have 10 choices
Mhm.
than basically limited to one choice, right? So yes, it's hard to make a decision on which college you may want to go to, but it is good to have that decision, right?
Yeah, and I think it's also interesting because I think we've seen members in our community have a lot of choices now, but they almost get like paralyzed by analyzing all of the different ones, and so it actually delays the time that they make a choice.
Absolutely. Okay, so based on that, Like, how do you decide between good opportunities?
How do I decide between the good opportunities? I think one thing I like to think about is myself in the future. Is like, okay, what would I regret? Or and the regret often comes from not doing a thing. So if you can kind of think ahead, oh, I think I'd regret not doing this more or experiencing that more. I think that can kind of narrow the choices down. Now, that can only go so far. At some point, you're going to have to make a choice, right? But I think that's one thing that can kind of help is thinking ahead in the future.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but I think just being older, I have more experience, right? So a lot of times, the big thing is we try to learn from our mistakes, right? So I think for me, it is definitely getting easier to make decisions. When you're younger, a lot of times you're worried about you think about your future a little bit more. Things are so much further, right? But now a lot of times it's an easy decision because it's trying to just what is the least resistance or what is
Mm,
going to simplify things for myself, right? So a lot of times decisions now are a lot easier, and you know that a lot of times even if you make a mistake, it never really turns out as bad as maybe you were thinking, right? So even if you do make a wrong decision, a lot of times it doesn't turn out as bad as maybe you were anticipating. Yes, and yes, Andy, the comment and response should be interesting from Matt and Dion. Hey, Jason's here. Good morning. Let's see.
lots of people here.
Yeah, definitely. I do see Janelle here. I'm also, like I said, people on Wednesdays, I do a school member introduction. So if
Mm.
people want to jump on Wednesdays with Joe and Lauren, and we do a school member spotlight. I'm trying to get Janelle on. She said she's kind of camera shy, so
Come on.
she said she might need an adult smoothie while she's live streaming. So I told her that that's fine. But have you ever turned down a good deal because it didn't fit your long-term goals?
Yeah, so I was actually just talking to someone about this yesterday. I drove an hour and like 20 minutes to go have breakfast with this dude, but he's very well to do. And he said, "Hey, just come up. You're on spring break. I know that I know you have time." So I actually went and I drove up there. We were talking about deals, and he's definitely in the later stage of his investing. But I was telling him, I was like, "Oh yeah, there's this deal actually right by a property that I own," and we were discussing what the property was, but it was all one. It was all one bedroom, one bath. And I said, I think I can make the numbers work. But he's like, but do you want all that? I said, well, I don't really want the property that I have now is also smaller in units. So he said, well, if it doesn't match with what you want, don't. It doesn't matter if it's a good deal. Just don't do it. And so I was like, oh, okay. And so that kind of like aligns with find out what you actually want and let everything else go to the side.
I do see Alex, the accidental investor here. He does say smash that like button. So definitely hit that like button, jump over to Curtis's channel also, subscribe and like there. And I'm sure Alex is gonna dig into you at some point during this live stream based on your comments from yesterday's live stream.
Man, I don't know
Uh,
what you're talking about.
I see Christopher Ramsey here. He was our guest this past Wednesday. So if you want to know more about Chris from the school community, go check him out. Curtis prefers the one bed, no bath. Uh, was there okay? So was there any other problems that came? This discussion that kind of means you're winning. Was there another one that stuck out with you?
Yeah, yeah. And first, before I move on to that, Chris Ramsey was the guest that you had on, right? Yeah. So as I was listening to him, his thing really like resonated too because he's a teacher. He coaches sports, and I just really liked that interview that you guys did with him.
Yeah, and he said like D linemen are useless.
Get out of here,
No,
man.
he played tight end. He said so.
Yeah.
He said tight end besides quarterback. I think he said a tight end is the best position. He said.
Oh yeah, yeah. I played that in high school. It's the best of both worlds, man. You get to hit people, you go catch the ball. But which problem? I think also outgrowing your circle. That one really stood out to me because it's kind of a tough one because you can't tell your circle that right. Like there's a kind of a balance that you got to do right. I think when Zuber says audit your network, it's not cut those people out. It's just get new people in.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I think, like I said, you're not really telling your circle.
Hmm.
It's just based on your actions. It kind of just works out that way, right? I think a lot of us, once we start heading down this path, you're studying real estate, or you're studying financial freedom and things like that, then it kind of like those people start seeing it, or they're just doing their thing. So you're already kind of veering off, right? So you're not really like telling them, I don't want to hang out with you, or I don't want to have this conversation, or I don't want to go to the bar with you guys. It's just that's just kind of seems how it works out. You're doing different things already. But I think that one is super important. And I think I don't talk about it as much now, but definitely that is one reason for me kind of being okay with stepping away from the firehouse
Hmm.
earlier than I ever thought I would. Just I'm in a different place already, and the firehouse life, as fun as it is, and a lot of shenanigans we do, it's still it's a different. Everyone's kind of going in one direction, the herd, right? And I'm trying to do something else, and it's just kind of different directions already, different paths, right?
Yeah, I definitely hear you there. When I go back to school on Monday, I already know teachers are going to be talking about the trips that they took and all the fun that they had, and oh, they're excited for the summer break. And then they're going to ask me what I did. I'm like, well, I made phone calls all week, or I went and I saw properties, and it's just going to be a whole different type of conversation.
Brady Morgan in the chat. I'm not sure if he's in Hawaii right now, but I'm not sure if he's experiencing the weather that we're experiencing, and um, got school canceled, like I said yesterday. Um, uh, Curtis, do you see real estate and investors differently now that you're an agent? Oh, this can kind of tie into,
Mm.
um, having problems, right? It kind of means you're winning, right? So when you are a good agent, when you're not starting off, you might have a choice of who you're going to work with, right? But when you're in the beginning, we kind of know like going to take on whoever we can in the beginning because we need to build that client base, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I'm fortunate enough that I have my W-2 still. So if there's like like a buyer that's like tough to work with, I don't have to work with them. I don't need that commission check. It would be nice, but I don't like need it. But do I see real estate differently? Yeah, because before I wasn't really on the retail side. Like I didn't really care about the countertops or or school districts or anything like that. But now that I'm working with what I call like the normies, I see a different perspective. While I may not agree with the perspective, I have to see it through like a different lens. And then do I see investors differently? Not really, because I was new for them. It was like a numbers thing. So
What about bougie investors?
Okay, bougie investors. There is one in chat that does not know what a C class like rental really is.
I see Chris Webb here. He says D linemen are useless, spoken like a true Gary Bears fan. I said Christopher. Chris didn't say that. I'm just putting words in his mouth, but he did say tight end was the well. Besides quarterback, he said tight end was the best position. Hey, Brady, what island are you on, Brady? Steven from the Bronx is here. Oh, he had one day stuck on ship due to weather. Oh, he must be on a cruise. Oh yeah, you've been on a cruise for a while, I think. Yeah. Uh, Alex says that's why Curtis doesn't work with me. Hey, Jan. Oh, yeah, Jan. I did see she was here. She's back in Washington. Do you know Jan? She's in Washington.
Where? Where in Washington?
Jan, if you are, or if you're okay with putting where you're exactly at in Washington, but Curtis is in that area also, so
Yeah.
he would be a good person to connect with, and he's a networker out there, so he would be a great resource if you want to get to real estate meetups and things like that. Um, but yeah, I think on that point of kind of being more selective with your inner circle, auditing your network kind of thing, I think that one is very, very important. Um, how do you handle though? Let's say because even in real estate, right? I mean, you have people doing so many different strategies.
Yeah.
Do you? I'm not saying you're trying to avoid certain people, but like
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you kind of know what I'm getting at. I
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah, yeah. So because I go to so many networking events, I see a lot of people, sometimes repeat people, and this is specifically probably more at like the sub two events that I go to. But But there are some people that you hear the same thing all the time at every event, and you're like, oh, you're not doing anything at all. While I love you as a person and you're nice, I don't really need to engage with you here because it's the same issues or the same lack of progress. And so you kind of got to weed them out, but be nice in doing so.
Um, Flavio says he's having a difficult time commenting. He says for some reason he cannot comment.
Oh,
So Stephen P, if you can technically help Flavio with his technical difficulties, that would be useful. But Jan says she's in Rainier outside of Lacey. I'm
oh,
not sure.
Rainier is a small little area, but it's nice.
Oh, Flavio, there you are. I do see
There
your
it is.
comment now. He says, "Good morning from Grandview, Washington." Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Huh. I
Yeah,
think how important is it being around other investors? Like how where do you put that as far as helping you grow or becoming a better investor?
I think it's probably one of the most important things, especially if you're like earlier on, or there's no one else in your circle that actually does it, because you don't know what they are doing day to day. You don't know the mindset, right? Because when I hear other investors like problems, I'm like, oh, that's a lot harder than what I'm doing with at the moment. So it kind of helps things be put in perspective.
I think that is the one great thing about the school community is you hear more people talking about problems. And that's what's helpful because you realize you're not alone in this and you realize that shit problems do come up. But if you're kind of just around people that aren't talking about it, then you just think like you're doing something wrong. And I think that's definitely the most important thing about being around school is you realize that it's just part of investing in real estate, right? It's just problems do happen, right? I think you were going to ask a question before I kind of was there something?
Yeah. Well, it was more of a me thing. Is that's partly why I started doing the YouTube thing. Is that way I had an excuse to talk to more people, and then once they're on your podcast once, then it's easy to reach back out and just kind of catch up. It's kind of an excuse to make friends.
Absolutely. And I think I've talked about that before is I recommend everyone trying to do it. I know Zuber's talked about it too before, but like I said, I mean, I get to talk to Cody every week. Just letting everyone know Brandon's going to step away for a little while. He's kind of occupied with his new builds right now. So I told him he broke up with me over a text message. So then I called him. I said, "Dude, why are you just texting me?" He's like, "Oh, I know, man." And so that's for those of you, that's what we were joking about in the school call this morning. But Brandon's going to step away from Tuesdays for a little while. I think Gus might be filling in, but Gus will be with me on Tuesday this week. But I think that's the thing, right? Because I do get to talk. I get to talk to Cody on a regular basis, right?
Mhm.
I get to talk to Brandon. I get to talk to Gus. Even Joe, different lenders, right? I talk to Zuber on Thursdays, right? And then, like I said, I'm going to talk with Dion and Matt, right? So I definitely think it's helpful because you can always toss ideas because there's always a little bit of extra time you can talk story, right? But it's just having these people in your Rolodex, right? And even Dana from Hemlane, if I have a problem with Hemlane, I pretty much message her directly. Hey, this, how do you handle this? And when the platform changes a lot, like, look, well, I don't. Maybe they sent an email and I didn't know about it, but in the message section of
Mhm.
Hemlane, before there was no option to like only message the tenant
Oh,
or only message Hemlane or message both.
mm.
So I think I was sending messages, but it wasn't going to the tenant because it was on only Hemlane. But it was a new feature, and I was like, "What the?" Like, so I didn't realize why the tenant wasn't getting those messages. But it's just things like that, right? Curtis is the reason I'm in school. Is that true?
That is true. He had called me, and anytime he calls, it's going to be a long one. But he had called me, and it was like, "Hey man, is school worth it?" Like, and we kind of went through it all, and I said, "Just join and see if it is." And now we're stuck with them.
Yeah, That's how I feel about a few people that I invited there. No, I'm just playing. uh, hey, do you know Marlon? I don't. It says preach, teacher. We all love Curtis.
Man, don't put me on the spot like this. Uh,
uh, I was just giving him shit before this that teachers don't work, man. They work
hey,
like half the
hey,
year.
we work our 180 days, okay?
The only profession that I can make fun of, right? That not working. But all right, like I said, this is based on an Alux video talking about having good problems equals you're winning, right? Was there any other ones that stuck out with you?
Yeah, well, I actually had one for you because I'm a little bit away from it, but deciding when enough, like what enough is.
Um, yeah, I think there's a lot of factors that go into that, right? So, one example is like Cody Davis, maybe, right?
Mm,
I mean, from my perspective, is like he has enough, but he's very young still yet, right? And he enjoys it. So for him, it's not enough. He has different
mhm,
plans, right? So I think age is a big factor. I am definitely more towards the end game side, so it's easier for me to have kind of an end goal as far as building. Now, I don't want to say that I'm ever going to stop. I'm going to stop to the point where I'm not gonna like actively pursue things. If things come across my table that makes sense and it just and I don't have to like jump through hoops to maybe acquire something and it just works out, then it's like great. If it doesn't work out, then it's like great. And I think that's what this whole video is about, right? When you have these opportunities or when you're faced with um, different choices, that kind of means you're on that winning side when you just have these options, right? So it's kind of like I said, if the deal worked out, then great. If the deal doesn't work out, then it's like it's not a big deal to me, right? Like I'm not hurt if something happened, right? So even like a lot of times, some of the people that we work with in Pittsburgh, right? They'll send these deals, right? Say, hey, these are some deals that might make sense. A lot of times I'm like, okay, well, see if anybody I'll see if any it works for anyone else first, right? Because like for me, it's like I don't necessarily need anything. So it's like we'll see if anyone else in the group can make this work or kind of fits what they're looking for, right?
mhm,
And if it doesn't, then maybe I'll dig deeper into it, right? Because maybe for some reason for them, it's a little too small margin for them. Whereas
mhm,
myself, I can take the smaller margin now because I'm looking at it for like 5 years from now, right? So like for myself, I have more levers to pull maybe. So it's like, okay, this one is not as maybe a great return day one, but
mhm,
like Dion talks about, maybe day five or year five, I see the vision. It's side by side. Utilities are all separated. There's parking. Certain things, and it's like, okay, that makes sense for me. But we'll see if anyone else it works with. So for me, that's kind of what it is. And I think what I'm comfortable with is, I think everyone would probably. I'm very comfortable in my own skin, so I'm never like comparing myself to others, and I'm not worried about what someone else is doing. I think that's where a lot of people might struggle with. They're seeing what other people are doing, and they feel like they're not doing enough, or they feel like
mhm,
they're just like, and they got to do more, right? They feel like I'm. I think some people also feel like they're letting people down in the community, like maybe people are close to Dion, right? And they're like, wow, like I haven't bought anything, right? I'm letting Dion down. So for me, I'm just like, I'm comfortable where I'm at. And I think that's always been my kind of one of my strengths is it's easy for me to make decisions and kind of just stick with it. And then that's just, yeah.
do you think that's a age or experience thing, or do you think it's because you've experienced the success that you have, and now you're just like, well, I don't need to prove anything. I've already done it.
No, I think it's a lot of factors, right?
Mhm,
And I think a lot of it just comes down to, and I relate a lot of it, like I said, to being a first responder. Is sometimes you just got to make a decision and you live with it, right? So it's never trying to you know prove how good you are to some extent. And I think a lot of, like you said, it is age. I feel like I've accomplished a lot and I have nothing to prove. And so for me, I'm comfortable where I'm at. And a lot of it to me also is where I'm at in my journey is, and I think a lot of people, I haven't talked about it recently, but I used to talk about it quite a bit. Is my dad had a stroke when I first got in the firehouse, so he's been
Mm,
partially paralyzed that entire time. So for me, I realized like there's more to life than you know making so much money. Like my dad is fine. He has a great pension and everything, but like he never got a chance to really play with my son, his grandson, at his 100%. Right. When my son was born, he was already partially paralyzed. Right. So
mm,
he never had that opportunity to play with my son and enjoy certain things. Probably. So that's also why, like for me, it's this comfort level of spending time with my son,
mm,
and then also more so planning for him to maybe selfishly start a family earlier, right? No, to have that stability and opportunity there, right?
yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm working at. But for me, yeah, I'm just comfortable in my own skin, and it's also I'm having fun doing this stuff, right?
Mm,
Like the YouTube stuff, and you know, hanging around with you guys, and I think even like Gus, like we kind of talked about it too. Like I think Gus is starting to realize he's enjoying this podcast type of stuff. So like I said, Gus, I don't know if he's still here. I'm gonna go check out his YouTube channel Behind the Doors. I think weekly he's coming out with different episodes, but he has like three different people joining his podcast, and it's a lot of fun. So I think he has something set up with you, right? Did he reach out to you? Did you guys reach out? Oh,
and
okay.
not yet, no.
All right. That was a long answer for a question, but um, was there another one that stood out to you?
um, Raising your standards, I think that applies to a lot of things. The in the video, it talked about not splurging, but seeing the value in quality and being okay with paying more for that thing. And I thought that was pretty interesting because anyone that knows me knows that I'm pretty cheap, or what I like to say is frugal. But
I say
I'm
cheap.
even, but I'm even starting to experience this as well. It's like, okay, what is actually important, and I'll quote unquote splurge a little bit on that one. The example that I gave is like the airport. I do not want a layover. I do not
Ah,
want a layover. So I'll pay the extra $100 to avoid that.
yep. But there's so KK, yes, I'm in Hawaii. Curtis is in Washington. Corder Chris said we should get a teachers panel going, Curtis.
Oh, nice.
And,
Okay,
and
I'm down with that.
and then Gus says he wants Curtis on. All right,
All
cool.
right, cool.
Um, but yeah, did you happen to see my episode or my live stream with Cody on Monday?
I think I got pieces of it.
Did you hear him talking about doing his lawn at one of his properties?
Oh, the 3 hour drive.
Yeah. Okay. So that's
Yeah,
that to that point, right?
yeah, yeah.
That is exactly where I was headed. Is like you're saying, right? At certain points, but I don't know if that would ever make sense driving 3 hours to do the yard, right? From a right. I don't know. But yeah, I mean that definitely comes into play as you start winning. I guess the easiest way we can put it, and
Mm,
things start working out a little bit. You have to make those decisions on how your time, how your money is best spent, and a lot of times for me, it ultimately comes down to convenience, right? Convenience and saving time because I think we're all looking for that time freedom. So any way that can save time and make life easier is something that I'm always looking for. So I guess off the top of my head, I can't think of anything that I specifically do that would make my life easier. Um, I guess I just try not. I look at it. I try not to make my life so complicated.
mm,
So I don't know
mm.
if I'm always is looking. It's just maybe that's a different perspective on how to look at it. But I definitely agree. Yeah, like no layovers. Um, like I don't know. Like some people are cutting coupons all. I get it. People are you want to save money on certain things, but I'm not gonna worry about it if I don't have this coupon on me at the time and I wanted to eat at this or restaurant, right? I'm
Yeah,
not gonna like, oh, okay, I gotta drive home to go
yeah,
get the coupon. and then go back. I was like, I'll just eat here, and maybe next time I'll have the coupon. I'm not gonna go out of my way to get this coupon to save 10%, and now I'll go back to the rest. So, uh, Alex said, "Who would want to listen to that? I couldn't wait to be out of school." Let's see who would be on. There would be you. Who else is there? Christopher Ramsey. Who else is teachers? Oh, Bitcoin Nick. We're gonna have Bitcoin Nick on now. He's So actually, yeah, everyone. I didn't do the Bitcoin weekly wrap up this week because Nick is traveling. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, so every time he travels too, he puts videos out on his Instagram talking about this is
Mm,
why you invest,
mm,
right? You invest so you can travel and have these time off and enjoy and things like that. So
mm.
yeah, he's linking everything together, right?
Yeah, I think every teacher also is a coach too.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Any other ones stuck out to you in that Alux video?
Oh, let's see here. Oh, no longer hiding behind potential. I think that one is an interesting one. Because I think when you're on the younger side, that they say, oh, you have potential, you could do so much. And then the last thing that the lady said in the clip was the worst thing that you can hear is that you had potential, like you just let it go to waste. And I think that's a big regret that people could have.
Yeah. I think a lot of that probably stems from your athletic and coaching stuff too, right? I'm sure you've seen a lot of talented and players that had a lot of potential and just never panned out for different reasons. And you've seen other individuals that probably just outworked them and succeeded. But yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, so at what point does potential become an excuse, though?
Yeah, because at some point you actually got to do the thing. You have to be the person that you yourself think you can be, or that others have bestowed upon you of who you can be. And if you don't take that action at a certain point, at what point that is, I'm not sure exactly, but at a certain point, it's like, well, are you going to actually live up to it?
Yeah, I think I like that because I think a lot of people is also they don't ever try because they have that potential. So,
Mm.
if they try and things don't maybe work out as planned, that potential label disappears now, right? But if they never try, that label of potential always stick with them, right? They can always say, "Oh yeah, but I had the potential to be the greatest, D lineman ever, and I just didn't want to," kind of thing, right? So they
Oh,
always have that excuse there to be like, "Oh yeah, I just didn't want to do it," kind of thing, right? So, um, Curtis, what is the best way to get teachers interested in real estate? Oh,
that is a very interesting question. I think you could do it with the carrot or the stick here. I think the stick for me was within my first year watching the older teachers like not panic but like sweat about their retirement because it was tied to the stocks. It was going all over the place. They're over there doing the calculations on what age that they can retire. And to me, that's terrifying. Is having to figure out a math equation to know if I can leave my job or not, and or even the messy like middle, because there's a lot of teachers at my school between the age of like mid 40s to late 40s that they literally cannot retire yet because they can't even take the penalty yet until 55. And so they're like, I want to leave my job, but I can't because what else am I going to do? And now that's probably that their own, self talk right there. But to me, that's terrifying. I don't ever want to be in that phase, right? But if they just had a couple houses that they had kept over the years, they'd probably be able to leave now. So that's kind of like the stick with like the fear, but like the carrot could be to show them all the cool things that they can do because of like the real estate, right? Maybe it's an extra vacation with their family or their kids, or it's, hey, okay, you're out of the sick days, but you go on spring break trip, you go on a summer trip, you go on the winter trip, right? Showing them the cool things that can come from the real estate. I'm not sure which one would be most effective though.
Sorry, I didn't want to go back a little bit to the one about saving money or saving time, right? In a sense.
Mhm.
Um, so does paying more sometimes save money long term?
Hmm. Just paying more. Mm, what comes to my head kind of instantly is maybe like maintenance things. Like, okay, does this thing need to be replaced, or can it just be a little fixed? The little fix might be a couple $100, but the big fix to replace it might be a couple thousand, right?
Yeah, that's a great point, and I think that's a great fit for, like we're saying, when you have those type of decisions to make.
Mm,
That kind of means you're in a more of a winning
yeah.
position, right? Because a lot of times you may just have to put a band-aid on it at the time because that's just what your finances allows for, right? But
Hmm.
when now you have a decision like, okay, if I can put a band-aid on it, it might last this long. But if I want to replace it, like you're saying, right, it's gonna last 15 years, right? And I
Yeah.
save myself the headache, right? So but if you don't have the resources at that time, then you may have to just put a band-aid to get you through this time, right?
Hmm.
But when you're winning, you're like, okay, I have this choice, I have this decision to make, right? Do I
Yeah.
want to just put a band-aid or do I want to think about it long term? Hey, Stan's here. Yep. So Stan says watching other people be forced to wait until they are 65 or 67 to retire is good incentive to learn investing to prevent that from happening. Yep. Um, Delroy Samuels, I believe they were your most recent interview, I believe, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. I believe he's in school also. So I
Yeah.
think
Yes.
I don't know. Is that how you met, or you had him join some
Yeah.
interview? Oh, okay.
We had met in school, and I was like, "Oh, this is exactly the type of guy that I want to have on." So,
All right. He says, I think so. Pay to be in a better area. Oh, vacancy lower. Yep, absolutely. Right. So, yeah, I think that makes it. So, Delroy, I'm not sure if you're subscribed to my channel, but you can always jump over to my channel also, because I do see you're coming in from Curtis's live stream. Flavio says, what is the perfect girl for you? She have to like real estate. Ooh.
she doesn't necessarily have to like it, but she's got to be like okay with it, like because my ex, she was cool, but I invited her. I said, "Hey, do you want to see with what I do? Like, you can come see this house with me and stuff." That this was before I had my agent's license, but so we drive out there, and the agent's like, "Hey, just so you know, it's a little rough." But I'm like, "Okay," I'm like, "That's fine." And so me and her and the agent go up, and from the outside, we're like, okay, it's not great, but that's fine." And then we go in, and the smell was crazy. Like, it smelled like death in this house. And like we look over at the couch, we see this old lady. We think she's dead, but apparently she was just asleep. But she looked dead to me. And then this old dude is like showing us around the house, and she's like holding her breath, trying not to like throw up. And she like points down. There's like dog crap on the floor. The house. I was like, okay, like it's really just lipstick on a pig. Like once we get all this stuff out, like it's really not that bad. But yeah, she was pretty disgusted by that one, and so maybe I don't show them the properties, but maybe I just tell them about it.
No, you don't show them that property because I
Yeah.
think Adam may have talked about that too,
Hmm.
and I think Chris Wisting and his son, so two teenagers that came to the event, but they were shown properties or they saw what their fathers are doing in these rundown properties, right? So for them, in their mind, what stuck out was, I don't want to be dealing with this
Yeah.
toilets and crap everywhere, right? So I think you set yourself up for that one by
Well,
taking her to
well,
that
here's the thing.
property.
I didn't know how bad the inside was. I saw the outside, and I was like, "Oh, it's just like siding. Like it's not that big of a deal. It's in Bremerton. The water hits it. It's not that big of a deal." But but that one was really bad.
Lane 5 it says, when is Curtis's book coming out describing his house experiences?
When I leave from teaching, then maybe I'll have enough to fill a full book.
Hold on. I want to put Andy's channel in the chat. So if you haven't subscribed to Lane 5, go check him out. It's about faith, family, and fitness. And I think he comes out every Sunday with a new video. And
Oh,
like I
nice.
said, I'm a terrible friend. I never ever asked him what Lane 5 was. So go watch one of his first videos, and he explains what Lane 5 is referring to.
Nice.
Go
Me and
check
Andy
him
have to come on to talk about birds.
out. Yeah. Well, I, I did. I actually do got to reach out to Andy because I'm not sure if the time works for him. Like I said, every Wednesday, Joel, Lauren, and I try to do a school member spotlight, but typically we do 11 a.m. Eastern. So I think I'd mentioned it yesterday, but this coming Wednesday, we got the one and only Val coming on. So that should be
Oh, nice.
exciting. So Val will be on Wednesday. And then the following week after that, we have Big Cody from school. He's a
Okay.
investor property manager out in Louisiana, I believe. So he'll be on Wednesday. And that's all I got lined up. So if anyone else wants to jump on Wednesdays with us, let me know. But typically we do 11 a.m. Eastern. So if that works for you, message me and we'll have you on. Curtis selling used funeral homes.
Man.
Yeah, Andy says that you just laughed out loud here with the lady on the call. You know what? You know what? The first thing that pops into my head when you talked about that though is always Seven. I don't know if you remember the movie Seven when
Oh,
that body that they thought he was, but he was just like kept alive with enough drugs and they had what is it the photos that showed every day of his progression. Um, hey, janitor on fires here.
nice.
Um, Alex says, have you heard about the Shelton PE teacher who is in the spotlight for walking around the locker room in her thong?
Yeah, that came across my Facebook page actually. I don't recommend that. If you're going to shower at the school, which I've definitely showered at the school, you have to wait till everyone's gone. You can't do it during the school day.
Yes, we know you showered at school, right? Because that was part of your house hacking, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Right. So that like if everyone doesn't know, Curtis's first house hack, he did not have a shower, and he, like I said, he always wants to clarify he did shower. He just had access to different showers available. So at school,
Yeah.
at the gym, at the mom's house. But that's how he got on the property ladder, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, yes, Val would be a fun one. So like I said, Andy, I'm not sure if 11 a.m. Easterns work with you, but we'll love to have you on a Wednesday. But anyone else in school? And like I told Janelle, adult smoothies are okay. So if you do need an adult smoothie to talk on camera, that is fine. Anything else about the 10 problems to have that means you're winning for the Alux
I
video?
don't know if we watched the same clip because in my clip it talked about five, and so
What?
yeah,
No, there was 10. I even have 10 bullet points here.
what?
What video are you watching?
Oh well,
You know why you're being cheap. You didn't pay for YouTube Premium. Oh, that's well. There's another thing, right? YouTube Premium, right?
hey, I
Some
actually
people,
do have that. Okay.
okay, but it saves you time, right? You don't have to
Yeah.
deal with all the ads and you can even like wait, you don't have to have the screen on, right, to
Hmm.
listen to it. So it's just a convenience that what is it like? What is it? 19.99 a month? I don't know, but
Yeah, that's fine.
yes, Flavio, YouTube Premium. Um, but let's see. It's well, okay. Let me see what else we got. That says you only had five for some reason. Um,
Or maybe it was the five that you put in the post.
oh, that's probably what it was. Yeah. Let's see. Let me see. Ooh, this one. Well, this kind of relates to auditing your network, but you notice some people are like vampires. They
Oh,
drain your energy.
oh,
Um,
energy, man. Vampires are the worst, man. And I am getting better at identifying them pretty quick, but sometimes they just can't be avoided. And so I am trying to figure out. Okay, Steven, just so you know, if you want to see that, I do charge. Okay, so get your ones
Good.
ready.
We can talk about that real quick after. Not you in a thong, but something else related. I don't know why it got me thinking about that. But finish up your what you were saying.
No, but like like energy vampires are so tough, and some of them you can't avoid because they're your coworkers or they're like a family member. And so I'm trying to get better at redirecting them. And so one trick that I found is like find something that they like and instantly turn the conversation to that thing, and then that typically turns the negativity off.
Um, like I said, not about your thong, but for some reason you talking about you charge for it. Did you guys see Sophie Rain from OnlyFans talking about she was on the iced coffee hour recently with Graham Stephan?
Uh-uh.
Well, I believe she made like 93 million last year on, or I don't know if it's only OnlyFans, but she
Mm.
made like 93 million or something. She paid like whatever the 30% taxes. So she paid like 35 million in taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And basically during that podcast with Graham Stephan, they kind of realized that her financial planner was stealing money from her.
Oh my
She
god.
basically, so I think how it came out was she was like, oh, he only allows me to have this much money a month, invest the rest. No, so like he's
Mm.
only giving her like a certain amount to live on.
Okay.
There's, he's supposed to be investing the difference and things like that. And they were kind of asking her like what her net worth was, and then she said something like 20 million or something like that. I don't know. And they're like trying to like, wait a minute, you made this much money, you paid this much in taxes, you're only living off of this much, and they're just like, where's that difference?
Mm-hmm.
So I think, yeah. So basically, they're like, you need to like educate yourself or get with someone that's gonna help you handle your money, like teach you what to do
Mm.
to some extent. Because I mean, yeah, they basically were like, this person has to be embezzling or stealing your money, based on the numbers that you're giving us, kind of thing, right?
Mm.
But yeah, but it was wild. But yeah, like I said, you talking about you charging stuff, and it got me thinking about. I just saw that on X. That's why, on how much money she made.
That is crazy. Believe it or not, there's a guy in my local market. He actually helps manage or give financial advice to like OnlyFans girls, and so I don't know if it's him that's skimming some off the top, but they do quite well.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Chris Ramsey said this: "I'm getting YouTube Premium too. Can't stand all the ads. All of a sudden, last few weeks."
Mm.
Alex, the accidental investor, said, "You can't audit me out of your network." Yeah, All Nighter Hider does agree. YouTube Premium is worth it. Um, yeah, definitely people that drink. I just don't have time for it anymore. It's just, yeah, it's not worth it anymore. It's just like I get it. Some people may be in a bad position, certain things, and they're just down right now. But after a certain point, it's kind of just like, if I keep telling you something, or we keep talking about something, and it's always this negative or what, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not dealing with it already.
Is there like a trick or move that and you have of when you're confronted with this person and you don't really want to engage with them?
Well, that is the hardest part for me, because I
Mm.
would say the biggest vampire is my son's mom. So I can't just completely,
Mm.
um, I keep some relationship with her, right? So it's like,
Oh, yeah.
so I mean, it's as much as possible, um, but but it is. I got 8 more years of it. Then after that, it's like, then I can be like, I don't need to do any of this anymore. But let's see. Delroy asks, quick question, guys. How many house hacks can you do? I'm
Mm.
trying to do one more, but the lender said I can't do it in the same area or town.
Yeah, so this one comes up a lot. In theory, you can do up to 10 conventional loans in your name. The thing is that if you house hack, you have to change the unit type, especially if you're going to stay in the same area. And so, one, I'd also look at a different like lender, but also, but also think about changing the unit type, and they can typically give like you can give like a LOE or a, like letter of explanation on why you need to move. So let's say you're in a 2 bedroom now, maybe you're looking to go house hack the 3 bedroom. Just write why you need the extra room, and most of the time they can like say, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." Or
Say you need a shower, right?
say yeah, say you need like a shower, or say the in unit type, or if it's getting closer to a single family house, they're typically fine like with that. Like if you're in a threeplex now and it's 3 stories, if you move to like a side by side or a single family with a dadu, that's more like a single family house, and so they're more apt to say okay, and that's fine.
Yeah, there's always workarounds. I mean, Jeff and Suleika, PTO for life. I think they are working on their 10th or 11th, I believe, house act. So they're in the Denver area. So yeah, they've figured out a way to make it work. But yeah, I mean, that's also why I mean, probably won't get you to 10, but there's always different ways. But that's why lumberjack, likes to start with the four, right? The fourplex, and then work his way down, right, to the single family home, right? As
Yeah,
far as
if
let's
I remember, Delray has all triplexes.
what area was he in again? I forget.
Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Different school district. Ah, yeah. Alex says different school districts. Yep. There's always a way. I mean, right? There's always something. Just don't lie. Just don't really. I mean, just be as truthful as you can, right? For the reasons and whatnot.
Tell the lender what they need to hear.
Exactly. Let's see. Chris Webb says my advisor says no cookie shops. Yeah.
Chris
Um,
Webb just moved close. He's in Idaho now, right?
Yep. So he took a new. Oh, right there. He's a professor. Sorry,
Oh,
but he's an educator, so he could be part of your guys' teaching panel. But he is an economics person also. But yeah, he moved from Virginia to Idaho, and along the way somehow he canceled his Vegas trip to the ORAD event. So on his way there, somehow he decided not to come, even though he bought tickets and everything.
come on,
No,
Chris.
there was something that came up, and that it's from the cookie shop business that
Mm,
he had previously. Some unexpected bills from a previous business
mm.
that they were not expecting, so he canceled his attending the ORAD event. Yeah. Yeah, man. That's anything else you want? Any other stuff you want to shoot the shit about for a while, or that's all I really got. I mean, like I said, it's a fun one.
Yeah, no, it was good. I am doing a home buyers class on April 18th, and right now I have 65 people signed up. So when people say, "Oh, the market's turned," or people aren't interested, I know this is an anecdotal evidence, but 65 people signed up for a home buying class, which I think that's pretty cool.
And where is that? Where can they sign up for that if
Yeah,
they?
that's gonna be a virtual. This one's geared more towards like first time home buyers because we're gonna be like touching on like down payment assistance and things like that. But it's gonna be me, my lender, and an insurance broker.
Cool. And who do you have lined up next for your channel? You got anybody lined up? Gus, maybe
Um,
you gotta get Gus on there, man.
yeah, Gus, or there's a local flipper that I'm trying to have on. So
Yes, Janelle. Well, I don't know. I don't know if OnlyFans pays everyone that much, but OnlyFans, and she says I'm over here excited over a 7% cap rates. I think I'm in the wrong asset class. Oh man, I don't want to say anything about this, but no, yeah. I mean, I don't know how much the average OnlyFans person makes, but I mean, she was just yeah. I think she is probably one of the top ones, I believe. So, but yeah, it was something like 93 million, I
mm,
believe. But I'm not sure if it actually came out yet that episode on Ice Coffee Hour. Just the clips were on X. So I'm sure that video should be coming out shortly. James Hillis says you got to tell the negative people to shit or get off the pot. That also
Mm,
helps with the networking weeding. Yeah, like I said, I do agree with that, but at sometimes, I kind of want to give a little bit of time because sometimes like people are just in a bad spot at that time and maybe they went through something and they're trying
mhm.
to figure their way out of it. So but when it's like just consistent every time, right, then at that point it's okay, this is just who you are. In my opinion, right, sometimes that's just who this person is, and I don't the only way for them to get out of it, they just got to figure it out themselves, right? Nothing I say is going to change that.
Yeah, I work with some people where I know, okay, right at this time they're gonna start complaining every day.
um hey, Justin H, yes, I'm going to show up and heckle you. Ooh, yeah, Alec. Yeah,
Get out of here.
yeah.
Get out of here.
Um, yes, YouTube Premium. It's just so worth it. I just don't know why more people don't do it, or on the fence about it. I guess I should say. Um, Andy says Curtis can head to Ohio in the next couple of weeks. Turkey season starts, and we can overcome some fears. Uh,
Oh,
yeah. I sent him a video. I should have sent it to you. There was a chicken running around in my yard the other day.
oh,
Because
jeez.
the house next to us, their kids have like chickens and ducks running around. So I can't leave the garage door open anymore. Because the other day, I think we rode our bikes around, me and my son, and we left the garage door open. And I came back and I closed the garage door, and then I heard all these ducks in the back of the yard, just like trying to. I think they were trying to find a way out. They're like running back and forth. So I
Yeah.
had to open all the gates and let them run out. But
Oh, jeez.
yeah. Alex says under an alias, of course. Um,
Oh man.
yeah, man. I didn't know you were on spring break, so I should have. We should have set something up earlier. We could have had you on earlier this week, but
I don't know. I think this one was good. I was kind of doing all my agent stuff throughout the week, or seeing people that I've been trying to set appointments with and just haven't had time to. And so it it was good. I actually got to have dinner with four, like two couples, and probably the average age of the table had to be like 68. Like these people were really far in the game, but what was really interesting was seeing kind of the compound of time, and deciding what is enough, because they were talking about a few projects that they have. They're like, oh yeah, I just bought this like fixer, and I'm like, oh well, like why? Like like you really don't need it. Like why would you do that? And he said, oh, I just need to keep my guys busy. So I'm like, wait, you spent 200 grand because you bought it cash just to keep your guys like busy? And he's like, yeah, like I want them to stay around me, and I don't want them to go find someone else, so I had to keep them, like to give them a job to do. And I was like, oh, that's a whole different standard of life than I've even thought of.
yeah, like you said, those are just good problems to have, right? I mean, when you can do stuff like that, and you're helping a lot of other people too, right? They're having jobs and staying in business. But yeah, man, always fun to catch up with you. Like I said, man, can't wait to the next Vegas event. It's always fun seeing you in person. Are you gonna go on the cruise with Dion, folks? Is that part of your plan? I don't know.
Probably if they do it again, my family had already booked a cruise, which I'm excited for. I'm a big cruise guy, and so we booked a cruise the exact same week. So unfortunately, I won't be there. But if Dion does it again, I'm gonna make sure that I box it out and go on it.
Yeah, I believe I'm gonna be in Japan again during that time. So, well, we'll see. The mom is not too happy that we're gonna go. Yeah,
What
sorry.
a hater.
No, yeah, well, she's worried about the whole war stuff going on.
Oh, I see.
But that's like Middle East and Japan are like 5,000 miles away. She just thinks travel is not good right now. But
Mm.
I'm like, right.
I mean, but that kind of goes what Stephen is saying here is do you have any friends or family that continue to doubt? Sounds like she's doubting the travel, but do you have any friends that still doubt it?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, that's so. Yeah, the fire. Like I said, the firehouse. I think I talked about it the other day too. Is so many guys are just working for that pension, and
Mm,
you just would not. Most of them would not see anything different, and they're up in arms right now because the contract that we just received from the city is horrible. So the city, the arbitrators sided with the city, and basically it is like a horrible contract. So the whole department is like kind of up in arms and having a fit, right? And they feel unappreciated, right?
mm,
Um, but I hope it opens up more of their eyes to realize that you know you gotta take your own future or retirement in your own hands, right? The
yeah.
pension is great, but you never know what's going to happen, right? You know, the city has no money, and they're saying they can't pay you, so it's like this is the this is what we can offer you, right? So, but hopefully more people open their eyes and realize that you got to take your own future in your own hands, right?
Yeah, I think for me, especially because Easter was just this past week, so I got to see some family. I think they're have such strong. I'm so grateful that they have such strong belief in me. But they're like real estate. We don't know. We'll wait for a crash, or the interest rates are just so high. So to kind of answer your question, I think they have a belief in me, which is nice. But the way they talk about like real estate is not so uh, like positive. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that like I said, going back to your network and being around this community, that's the most helpful thing, right? You just realize that yeah, it is a 10-year journey at probably at the minimum, 5 years suck kind of thing, but you just realize that that's part of the journey and just keep moving forward and you should be fine, right? As long as, and I think Zuber talked about it quite a bit. The one thing he notices though is a lot of the portfolio reviews that he did recently,
Mm,
and I'm not sure if everyone got to see that, but the biggest thing that comes up is that people start getting a little success and then they start doing something else instead of just kind of doubling down on what they're doing.
mm,
So they start getting a little success in what they're doing, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna pivot to doing this now. I'm gonna jump into this now, and that stalls their progress, or that kind of sets them back, right? So he's just like, sometimes you just gotta stick with what you're doing, put your head down, focus. And I think I always bring it up too because I don't know if you guys saw Vincent. He's one of the hosts for the Friday out of state investing call. But yeah, he was talking about his portfolio. He's in California. He's doing very well in Alabama, and he's kind of like me. Like I'm in Pittsburgh. We're just focused on our market, but it's like sometimes we see other market, and it's like, yeah, I could probably do this. I could probably take this down, but it's like, but I don't want to go to the hassle and trouble of dealing with it, right? Because I'm already at where I'm at. I'm just going to double down in my market, and it's just that much easier, right? So yeah, sometimes do it. Just stick with what's working, and try not to get too focused on the other thing, the shiny lights out there. Hey, rental renovator. Thanks for stopping by. All right. Oh, hold on, real fast. Buzztune finally woke up. He's in Hawaii. No, I saw him earlier, but he said, "What was your reaction after the Dion Zuber video, based on your question?"
Oh, I think he's asking about the because I was hanging out with Dion and I had asked him. I was like, "Hey man, I'm about a third of the way through my journey, but I don't feel like I'm a third of the way to the cash flow." And so that's how he made that chart of it's pretty much flat, and then it's an exponential growth in year 8, 9, 10, right? And so I thought that was really cool, actually. I sent it to my family. I was like, "Look at what I sparked," right? Like I thought that was really cool. But it was nice to hear though, especially hear it true for multiple people. Cause I was like, gosh, I'm a third of the way there, but I don't feel like I'm a third of the way there. And so hearing much more successful people saying, well, that's how it is for everybody, definitely put me more at ease.
Justin says, I say people quit when they get a little bit of failure too, not just success. Oh yeah, absolutely. And that kind of goes back to my point of the whole school community is that you kind of realize that failure is kind of part of it, and that's why it kind of keeps you from quitting. Because if you're not around other people that have encountered some struggles, you think you're doing something wrong, right? You think you're like, hey, I'm not supposed to be having a vacancy, or I'm not supposed to have an eviction, and I'm not supposed to have a water heater broken, and you just like, huh, nobody told me about this, and I'm gonna quit, right? So I think that's why you want to get around people that are doing it or and they're ahead of you and even behind you because you can also help them get through those struggles.
Yeah, I think the real failure, because I think in school we're told failure is bad, right? Don't fail, don't fail. And then, but the real failure in adulthood and in business and what we're all trying to do is failure is really not trying.
Ah, absolutely. Sorry, I got this cough I can't get rid of. But Delroy says success equals more confidence, makes us believe we can do anything.
Hey, you got to have him on, man. He's really good. He he uh he talks, and you're like, wow, yeah, I really feel with what he's saying.
Well, I would invite him on, but I keep seeing him commenting from your channel. So until he comes over to my channel and comments, I won't invite. Now, yeah, Delroy, I'll reach out to you. I've seen, like I said, I've seen you in school. I've seen you on Curtis's channel. So
Mhm.
definitely we'll get you on. Like I said, if 11 a.m. Easterns work for you, like I said, I do a school member spotlight Wednesdays. The next 2 weeks, Wednesdays are lined up already, so it wouldn't be for another 3 weeks or so. Um, Justin says people that understand you can work hard all day and it costs you money when you're in business for yourself. Right? People
Yeah.
that yeah, and you can work all day and it costs you money. Wait, what?
Hmm.
I'm a little confused on that. It costs you money when you're in business for yourself.
Oh, because you could be doing other things, maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah. So that's that sticking point too of having problems, right? When you start making a little bit of money, it's like when do you transition to that point of delegating more, which may cost you some money there, but now you're pursuing something else, right? So
Yeah, I mean, early on, like right now, my CRM is a spreadsheet because I just go in and I like handle it, right? But as I get more leads, right, like I got these 65 people signed up for my class, or I'm starting to make more offers. At some point, I'm gonna have to spend the money for actual like CRM, right? But it's at what point do I make that switch?
oh, I think he's also trying to say, but if you work for an employer, you get paid no matter what. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's also, but that's part of why you want to leverage that, right? So especially if you have a W-2 that's paying you, you want to leverage that W-2 income so that you can grow some sort of other asset classes, right? So that you don't have to rely on that W-2 for your, the rest or so many years. If you're self-employed, you can work hard all day and make a lot for nothing or even lose money. Absolutely, it is a trade-off. But that's also why, like Zuber talks about, right? He feels the W-2, it's your superpower, right? You use that to leverage to build wealth so that you can make work optional.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about not wanting to work. It's just now you have the option to step away if you feel like it. And Cody Evers, who's in school, he was on probably about 4 weeks ago. That's what he was talking about, taking mini retirements, right? Put yourself in a position where you can take these mini retirements. uh all right, man. Well, it's
Good. Thank
always
you for
fun.
having me on. Yeah, it was good.
Yep. I guess I'll connect with Delroy. Gus, looks like Gus wants you on, so you got to connect with Gus also.
Yeah.
And yeah, everyone, thanks for tuning in this Saturday. Special live stream. I'll be back Monday with Cody Davis. All right, thanks everyone.
Thank y'all.